Okay, so we're at part 3 now of the globe predictor model in Blender, and parts 1 and 2. If you haven't watched, please watch those. I go over how we got to this position, and we are going to continue on from there. Now we've got the model positioned at the December 21st base orientation. We're going to go to our equatorial and we're going to select it. And your equatorial dial may be in a different position, but because I've been moving it around a little bit. But to move your equatorial dial, there's some options over here. You want to make sure that you're selected in this option and that you are in this orientation. You just click your X. You're going to be on either side, but now you can actually move this equatorial dial around. The scale on this equatorial dial, you got to make sure that you're highlighting it, is at 0.1. So we can actually make it bigger or smaller with our scaling, but we got to make sure they're all the same, right? So what we can do here is talk about the equatorial dial for a minute. The equatorial dial is called an equatorial dial because its disk face is, or should be, parallel to the equator at all times for it to work. So any position of where this is going to be on the Earth, it's always got to be parallel with the equator. So right now, we have this where we're able to be parallel to the equator here. Okay, so what you can do is if you wanted to do it from your location, you can put this at whatever latitude you're at. You can make it smaller if you want to. But as of right now, it's just kind of sitting here. So the first thing that I do to make sure I don't mess with anything, let's see. Yeah, it's not attached to the globe right now. As you can see, it's not moving. So we actually have to connect it to the globe before we can turn it. But the first thing I want to do is I just want to make a copy of this. So you can highlight this and you can either do a couple things. You can copy the object if you want to right click and copy, or you can do just a Control C. So I'm just going to do a Control C real quick, and then a Control V to paste it. So now you're going to notice that we have a equatorial 2. I'll move it down to where we have 2 of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the first one because I want that to be a template. So this equatorial, the second one, you can see it's kind of highlighted weird, but we can go ahead and select off of it, select it back on, and now we're back to that copy, right? So we're on the copy and we've hidden the original. So now if we mess up, we can always go back to the original. But since the Earth isn't connected to it, we need to connect the Earth to it. So from this orientation, we can look at this way, and we can figure out, we can find the position on the Earth where we want to put this dial at. Okay, so if I wanted to put it at my location, I can align it to where it's at, where I am, and then we can also put it at the latitude that I'm going to be at. Okay, and this is where we have to kind of scale things down if we want to do that. So we can do a 0.01, 0.01, 0.01, and it makes it a lot smaller. So it doesn't matter how big it is, the shadow angle is always going to be the same no matter how big or how small it is. So if I kind of put this in the position where I want it to be at, okay, you can just be, pretty close to your latitude, as close as possible. And then you're going to have to parent this. So once you think you've got a position where you want it to be at, once you select make sure you select your equatorial dial and highlight it. You're going to hold the shift button down and you're going to left click on the globe. You're going to now see that the globe is highlighted as well as this. So now both of them are highlighted. You're going to right click and you're going to go down to parent, and then you're going to go to object. Now once you do that, you can select out, and then you can go back in, and then you can start moving the globe, and you'll notice that it is now connected. So that is, the globe is the parent, and the equatorial dial is the one that's connected to it. Now, the reason why I copied this first is if you copy something that is connected to another object, it's going to copy and paste everything that it's attached to. It's going to copy and paste both the equatorial dial and the Earth and all of the animation rotation. So this is why you always want to copy something that doesn't have a parent tied to it. So now I can do multiple locations if I want. I can go back to my original equatorial dial. That's down here, right? Make another copy of it, put it where I want to, and then select it, select the globe, and then right click and parent to object. And then I can do multiple equatorial dials. So we can do that. So we can do multiple positions at the same time. But let's just look at ours for a second. Now we're going to talk about September 22nd real quick, and what the shadow should be doing. So again, we always have to have that parallel. So when we're going to move our light to 270 degrees, because that's the fall equinox, right? And then we're going to start to move our globe around. What you're going to notice there, here's our dial. Again, it's following the path, right? But we're going to notice the shadow is going to go from west, 270 west, to 90 degrees east when you move it. So you keep moving it, right? And now that you'll see that at one point in time at solar noon or around solar noon, you're going to see that the dial doesn't cast a shadow. It can't work. And this happens on the equinoxes all over the Earth. The equatorial dials fail to work if you're aligning them correctly, parallel to the equator, the disk parallel to the equator. They fail to work. They just don't work. You can't get the dial to cast a shadow, or you can't get the gnomon to cast a shadow on the dial. So this phenomenon only happens on a sphere. And then you'll notice that the line actually makes a west to east path, which only works on a sphere. And this is what we're going to be doing when we do our observation test on September 22nd. So there we have it. We have our basic model set up, and we have shown how to get the equatorial dial in the position that we needed to for the observation on September 22nd. I will make one more video, and this is going to be more of a tweaked video to make this model a little bit easier to deal with, and I'll do it in a part 4. And it should be a lot shorter, but I just didn't have enough time to squeeze it into this one. So these first 3 videos should get you really, really, really close. Part 4 will just kind of help you make dealing with the model a little bit easier. Hope you guys have a great day. Take care.